Welcome to the new semester, dear students. We will study paper 1, Economic Geology. Economic geology is concerned only with those earth materials which are used for economic and industrial purposes. They may be like precious and base metals, construction grade stones, or any such earth material which is useful economically or for industrial purposes. So, for this semester, you have economic geology with maximum marks 60. This is paper 1. There are 4 units here in the syllabus. In the first unit, you will understand the concept of ore. I hope you must have heard this word, but we will study this in detail here. And then, what are ore deposits? What are ore minerals? You already know what minerals are. Now we will study what ore minerals are. Then what are gangue minerals? You must have heard this word in the chemistry classes while doing metallurgy. If not, then we'll study now. Then what are the tenor of ores? And what do we understand by metallic and non-metallic ores? These are simple terms which are related to the metal properties and the non-metal properties of any mineral. And then you must have heard about these earlier also, but here we will study in detail. Then we'll know what strategic, critical and essential minerals are. So, based on some planning of national mineral policy, some of the minerals are termed as strategic, critical and essential. We'll study about these in detail. Then in the unit 2, we will study that how these ores are formed. Like we have studied earlier that how minerals are formed, how these ores are formed. These are more or less interrelated. We'll come to it when we'll study in detail. So there are various processes due to which ores are formed. They may be magnetic, contact metasomatic, hydrothermal, sedimentation and many more, but they are not here in your syllabus, so we will be concise with all these processes only. Then in the unit 3, there is study of important metallic minerals and non-metallic minerals. Means they have selected some of the metallic minerals. So copper, lead, zinc, magnesium, iron, gold, aluminium, all these metals are present in some of the minerals. We have to study all that. Similarly, for non-metallic, gypsum, magnesite, mica. Other than this, we will also study the distribution of coal and petroleum in India. Although this is in your second paper also. You have the second paper as fuel geology. You will study it there also. Coal and petroleum, you will study this in detail in fuel geology. Then coming to unit 4, mineral exploration. How are you going to explore any mineral? Exploring simply means searching. There are different phases of exploration that include prospecting also. We'll study about this in detail. So you will only get an elementary idea of geological and geophysical prospecting. There are various other prospecting techniques also like geochemical and geobotanical techniques, but we won't go into that detail. So you have only 4 units in economic geology. Today let us start with unit 1. And for books that have been recommended for your economic geology path, there are 7 books that are recommended in your syllabus. Among these, Umeshwar Prasad is available in the library here, and you can take it from the college library once this corona thing is gone or you are allowed to come to the college. Otherwise, you can take it through Amazon also. It is up, take a paperback edition, you'll get it in around 200 rupees, or take it from your seniors. And even I'll send the PDF to all of you. If you have problem reading PDF, then you can take a hard copy for that. So during this lecture which we are going to take today, for unit 1 I have taken data from various sources. So these are the various sources which have been used as the reference here. So let us begin with unit 1. We'll understand what is the concept of ore, what are ore deposits, what are ore minerals, what are gangue minerals, and what is tenor of ores. And then we'll go to this part afterwards. You know what a rock is before going into the detail of ores. Rock is an aggregate of minerals. And then what is a mineral? It is a naturally occurring, inorganic, solid substance which has a definite chemical composition and ordered internal structure. You have studied about mineral in detail in crystallography and mineralogy. So I don't think you have much problem here, but if you have any problem, you can ask easily. So if we see a rock, it is an aggregate of minerals. There are many minerals here. This is a different mineral, this is a different mineral, this is a different mineral. This may be hornblende or amphibole, this is feldspar, this is quartz. So different minerals are combining together to form a rock. Okay. For example, one of the mineral is this, orthoclase. So here you are seeing different minerals. Here is a rock containing various minerals. A rock may be sometimes monomineralic also. This is an anomalous criteria. Means usually we say that rock is an aggregate of minerals, but sometimes we also say that a rock may be monomineralic depending upon the size of the rock, okay, and the composition. Sorry. Okay, so here you can see different minerals and different rocks. These are peculiar. Their shape is peculiar, their color is peculiar. You usually don't get similar kind of rock whenever you go outside from your home. This is different. This is very different. They have a peculiar shape, structure, color. Definitely they must be having different chemical compositions also. You can identify them easily. These are minerals, right? This may be a rock. Can you identify this? I hope you all may be identifying this easily. Here we see some rocks. They contain magnesite. This is the magnesite mine at Chandak. You had gone here during your field and you saw this closed factory out here, and you were told about how magnesite is formed. We'll go into the details. So this is the magnesite factory which is present in Pithoragarh in the Chandak area. During the field, you also went to Charandev. I remember that students were very keen to know how talc, magnesite and dolomite, all these three different types of rocks are seen together here. And we saw how open cast mining is done in Charandev. This Chandak factory is closed, but you have already seen a working mine here. Other than this, we have magnesite factory, in fact magnesite mine in Almora region also. If we see this simple map view, we are seeing that we have magnesite here, we have magnesite here, here also and here also. So there may be some geological factors which are controlling the presence of magnesite in this area. We will study all this. So magnesite is an important ore which contains magnesium, MgCO3. This is not a silicate, this is carbonate rock which contains magnesium in it. Okay, it is used as a refractory mineral also, and there are many more uses. So you have seen a similar condition in Chanandev area. This is magnesite. It has peculiar properties to identify it. So in order to get magnesium out of this magnesium carbonate, that is magnesite, there is a process of metallurgy which has to be followed, and before that what we do is we crush the material, mix it with calcined, grind it, then we fuse it in the electric arc furnace where smelting is done, and fused magnesia, that is MgO, is released along with some gangue material. Anything that comes out as waste along with carbon here, sorry, CO2 here, that will be gangue. So what is useful becomes metal or non-metal, whatever it may be, and whichever is not useful becomes the gangue. So this is a factory in China, a magnesite factory in China, some magnesite factory in China, and this is the magnesite factory which has been now closed in Pithoragarh. Okay, so let us come to the definitions before going into the great details of all this. We'll discuss about all this in detail afterwards also. So, what is an ore? We know what a rock is, we know what a mineral is. We have been to factories where ore is being processed, we have been to places where ore is being extracted from the earth. We have seen open cast mines also. So, what is an ore? Ore is an aggregate of minerals, that means it is a rock, right? Ore is an aggregate of minerals from which one or more minerals can be extracted profitably. This is the most important word which has to be identified while giving the definition of an ore. So, any rock from which you can take out one or more than one mineral profitably, then that rock is known as ore. Okay, so an ore can be also called as a geochemical anomaly. What is anomaly? Anomaly means something which is different from the surrounding. It may be more than the surrounding or less than the surrounding. Say for example, you are standing in an area where there is green grass all over, and suddenly you see one tree there. So that tree is anomalous to the surrounding. It is completely different from other things, right? So you are not getting magnesite everywhere like we saw in this figure. You are not getting magnesite everywhere. There are peculiar places where they are being identified. So these places are anomalous in relation to the places nearby. So these are anomalous in terms of composition. Okay. So while writing the definition of ore, you can write an ore is an aggregate of mineral from which one or more minerals can be extracted profitably. Now, if it is deposited, it becomes a ore deposit depending upon the size of the deposit. Okay. So mining is done to extract ore from these ore deposits. Anything which is other than ore becomes gangue. Gangue is the commercially worthless material. Okay. So in metallurgy you are using gangue for a different material. Here gangue is the commercially worthless material which surrounds the ore. Okay. And this separation of ore and gangue is done by mineral processing. We'll understand about this in detail afterwards. Coming to the tenor of the ore, the percentage or the concentration of economic mineral present in the rock, or the concentration of element present in the mineral is known as the grade or tenor. It is usually expressed in percentage or in ppm. We know that 1 weight percent is equal to 10 to the power of 4 ppm. Okay, so tenor is the of a ore is the lowest permissible metallic deposit that is present in any ore. So within the rock you have some percentage of metal or some percentage of any non-metal which is economically useful. So that percentage is known as tenor of the ore. So these are the various definitions. You have to learn these definitions. These may come in your exam. And this is the first part of the syllabus today. Thank you so much. Please feel free to ask questions.